Joining us now, we've got Kristen Larsen, who was diagnosed with ovarian cancer nearly 6 years ago at the age of 21 and is still continuing treatment today. And Sanchia Aranda, the CEO of the Cancer Council. Let's start with you, Kristen. How will this plan affect you?
It'll just make such a huge difference financially to me and so many other people with cancer. As you said, I've been fighting it for almost 6 years now, and I've basically had every type of treatment you can think of: chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, clinical trials, hormone therapy. And I was originally treated through the public system, and I basically last year ran out of options on the public system and the PBS. There was no longer any drugs that were listed that could actually shrink my cancer. So my only option was to then go to the private system. And I found, even though I have private health insurance and with the Medicare subsidies that already exist, there have actually been a lot of out-of-pocket expenses anyway. So the financial burden of cancer is huge, and so any sort of steps we could take to minimise that is really welcome to me.
So, Sanchia, can I come to you to crunch through the policy on this? Because the Prime Minister said today that a lot of this stuff is already free through the public system, so that this is money that's being offered that doesn't actually change the status quo. Is his criticism there, or his point there, right?
It depends very much on what type of cancer you have and where you're treated. So many patients have imaging tests that are out of pocket because they're not covered for their particular cancer. So they might be free, a PET scan might be free for lung cancer, but not free for kidney cancer. And then many of these services have now been privatised, and so while there are a lot of bulk billing arrangements, not everyone is bulk billed, and lots of variability. And many people also enter the cancer system through private specialists because of waiting times in public clinics. And for us, it's really concerning, because we know that the most socioeconomically vulnerable people in our community have a much higher death rate from cancer, and the financial toxicity is one of the big contributors to that.
Kristen, you would have come across a lot of other cancer patients in your journey. Have you seen others struggling with the financial burden?
Absolutely. One example that I can think of is I used to have a friend, she's since sadly passed away, but we both had ovarian cancer, and we saw the same oncologist at the same hospital, and we basically needed the same drug. And this drug hadn't been approved on the PBS yet, and I was lucky enough to be able to qualify for a clinical trial where I could get this drug. However, she didn't qualify for the trial, and it was $6,000 per dose every 3 weeks. And that was just a huge amount of money, and to literally sit, side by side with her and be receiving that for free while she was having to make those sort of sacrifices within her family and budget and find the money somewhere. It was really devastating, and she ended up not being able to afford to continue the treatment. And yeah, it's a really tough thing, and money is the last thing you want to have to worry about when you're already in the fight for your life. You don't want to be thinking about, oh, well, can I afford this treatment? Will it give me extra time on earth? And you don't want to put a price on that.
I can only imagine how hard that must have been for her, obviously, but for you, having to watch that and live through that. And of course, in this case, the policy would only apply if drugs are already on the PBS, so it might not have made a difference in that case, but you've made it clear how the financial cost can really hurt. So thank you very much for that, Kristen. And Sanchia, we appreciate your expertise and your reflections. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.